Well, it's August 22nd, and that is right. You guessed it. Another Kevin Durant rumor. We will break down what it means for the Sixers, the rest of the Eastern Conference, and a whole bunch more coming up on today's show. Let's go.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Philly Take with RB. Like always, if you enjoy this content, feel free to leave a like on the video as it tremendously helps me out in pushing this content around. Subscribe to the show and be sure to hit that little notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos and live streams. We have a bunch to cover. I can't wait. We're still in the dog days of the NBA. We say it every day, but we are approaching. We're getting closer, and we have some things to keep us in the loop. That is right. Another Kevin Durant rumor comes out today. The Sixers were mentioned along with a lot of other teams, so we will definitely break it down. But once again, continue to support the show. Much appreciated. Let's talk about what came out today, courtesy of The Athletic's Shams Charania. That is right. Another article he puts out today, but with a little bit of a catchy hook. He says, a new Western Conference contender is expressing interest in Kevin Durant. Fresh inside pass at The Athletic, breaking down the latest on the Nets star. Who could it be? Drop your guesses down below. Before we get into that, though, we're going to talk about how this relates to our Philadelphia 76ers. Shout out to my guy, Sean Bernard, on Twitter, putting out the quote because I actually found out a little quirk today on how to read these articles. I never was able to read them. I'm not paying the $1 per month. Call me stingy, whatever. I'm just not paying the $1 to read these articles that just don't have, too much information. I usually just go and look at some of the quotes or the pictures that people post from the articles. But shout out to my guy, Sean, putting out a little snippet here. He says the Philadelphia 76ers expressed recent interest in Durant, while the Milwaukee Bucks and Denver Nuggets also inquired with the Nets in late June and early July to gauge the price tag. None of these offers gained much traction. That is right. You heard it there. That's a direct quote from the article. I did go ahead and read the whole article. And essentially what this means is a couple things in my eyes. Number one, the Philadelphia 76ers are pretty much out on Kevin Durant. It doesn't explicitly state that, but if you read between the lines and you can put two and two together, the Sixers are just one of those teams in the bunch that we thought, would go out and inquire. Every team is going to, try to ask about Kevin Durant's services. Every team's going to try to call up Joe Tsai and say, what can I do to get Kevin Durant on my squad? But like the Bucks, like the Nuggets, probably a, handful of other teams here, the Sixers just, were one of those teams that faded off. And like I said weeks ago, would I trade for Kevin Durant? Absolutely. But Daryl Morey is not going to move Tyrese Maxey. And I'm also perfectly fine with that because I really like Tyrese Maxey and I think he's going to have a great year. I really trust in that kid. But yeah, I just, I've seen the opportunities before for Daryl Morey to, move Tyrese Maxey. What I feel happened is Daryl Morey probably inquired, got on the phone, either one of two things. One, he said, no, we're not trading another player to the Sixers and ending off in the worst situation. Or, you're going to have to give us Tyrese Maxey and Thibault and just everything else on your roster. And the Sixers probably just hung up the phone and Daryl said goodbye. I mean, if you've been looking at all the news going on in the trade market, I know it's a slow time, but, Danny Ainge and the Jazz want 7 first-rounders. I think the report today was 5 first-rounders at the minimum with like 3 players. It's getting out of hand. Rudy Gobert, thank you for messing up the entire trade market. Everything's on its head, man. And who knows what's going to happen with Kevin Durant? I still don't believe he will go back and play for the Brooklyn Nets. And even if he does, say he, just ends up going back, doesn't decide to hold out and just goes back, he's not going to be committed. And that is a huge factor in my eyes. So the Nets are kind of at a standstill. And KD has made his ultimatum. He wants to get traded. He doubled down on it. Who knows what is going to happen? But the mystery team that apparently seems to be interested in Kevin Durant, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies. Shams here puts a little, quote out from his article. He says the Grizzlies have 5 first-round picks to theoretically utilize in a KD trade, but sources say that they will not make Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond Bane available. Huh? You won't make Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond Bane available. And also another article kind of summarized a lot of what was in this article. And just to add a little more context onto that, another quote from the article from Shams said, the New Orleans Pelicans inquired with the Nets on June 30th as well, but said All-Star Brandon Ingram is untouchable. And also the Atlanta Hawks offered John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, and a draft pick for Kevin Durant. Now, let me give you my opinion real quick on this. I have a couple quick thoughts that I would like to share, and I would love to get some input as well. Based on the things I am seeing online, I think it is absolutely absurd the disrespect Kevin Durant is getting. And look, I'm not here to defend a Brooklyn Nets player. That's the last thing I want to do. But let me tell you something, man. KD is still one of the greatest players in this league. He is one of the greatest talents all time. He is a top 3 or top 5 player right now in the league. And I mean, this guy's skill set, what he's able to do on the floor, I know they got swept. All right. And again, I'm not trying to come to his defense, but he did have 2 of the weirdest case teammates ever in the history of the league. And I mean, you know, he was the one out there balling, trying to put it on the line and sacrifice. I'm just going to put it like this. Some of the disrespect that I've been seeing online from Kevin Durant, thrown his way, it's just been absolutely absurd. It's just been absolutely absurd. It is disrespectful. I'm seeing people out here. Look, I understand the personality part. I understand the trait part, and you don't want to deal with the personality, the guy that responds to people on Twitter. I get that. That is definitely a fair point, and I understand it. But there are people out here saying, oh, well, he's 33 years old. He can't play anymore. What the hell are you? I mean, who gives a damn? This is Kevin Durant. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? KD can easily go out on the floor any single night and give you 40 when you ask him to. When you ask him to. And obviously it doesn't really matter now with the Sixers because essentially he's not going to be traded to Philadelphia. But, you know, if there ever was a way where it came up and he was able to come to Philadelphia, like I said before, you have to be willing to give up anything to acquire the services of Kevin Durant. You know, maybe the market is so low for him, or reportedly low, because I don't really believe all that. I think it's just a leverage play. And really what I think's happening is these other teams view the Nets and view them with their back to the wall. You know, they can say, okay, we're going to stay strong, put our foot down, hold on to KD and go to camp. But it doesn't seem to me that he's going to want to go or will. So these other teams are saying, all right, you're going to have to, you know, lower your asking price. And it really just is a leverage technique. But people genuinely think the Grizzlies won't give up Desmond Bane for Kevin Durant. I mean, it has gotten out of hand at this point. The disrespect is astronomical. People need to stop sleeping on KD. He will still come into any team, any situation, and just say he was able to come to Philadelphia alongside Joel Embiid. That is instant title favorites for the next 3 years. Easy. Easy. So I just, you know, again, I'm not trying to come to the defense of him or the Brooklyn Nets, but people need to stop this. They need to stop this blasphemy. KD will end up getting moved. He doesn't want to be in Brooklyn. And if they don't find a trade partner, or they're not willing to come down, because you think about it, Rudy Gobert got traded for that many assets. Donovan Mitchell might get traded for 6 first-rounders. KD's going to literally take almost an entire team. And if another team does not want to give that up, then the Nets are going to have to hold on to him and see what happens during the season. But he may not report, and it's just all going to blow up. And I knew it was going to blow up with the Brooklyn Nets. And it's crazy. I don't think we've ever seen a star of this caliber with 4 years left on a deal willing to sit out and willing to just, you know, put his foot down on a trade request like this. It's absolutely nuts. It's crazy to see. At least it's the only thing lingering right now, keeping us through, you know, August and these last couple weeks where there's literally nothing to talk about with the NBA. And hey, training camp's in a few weeks. So even though it has felt like the slowest off season, at least for us Sixers fans, because it's actually been a normal off season, at least we have some drama to keep our eyes on. And I'll end it off with this, man. If KD does end up getting moved, say by the season, in my personal opinion, if I had to predict right now, I do not think KD or Mitchell will get traded before training camp starts. Nothing seems to be brewing that much right now. It's just all hearsay, you know, but I truly believe if KD gets traded, it will be out west, and I think that will be very beneficial for the Sixers. You look how the East is stacking up. Don't let him go to Boston. Don't let him go to Miami. If he goes out west, say to the Grizzlies or the Pelicans, Sixers have an even better shot in the Eastern Conference, and I will leave it at that. Send him out west, baby, if he's not coming to Philadelphia. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Like always, appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and like always, I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.